Hello, Farlanders. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust. This is episode 786 of Farlands or Bust as we exit the safety of our hidey hole. Secure it. Get rid of some unnecessary items. Grab Wolfie. And continue heading west to the Farlands here in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. Wait, is that right? I 1.7.3. I completely just brain farted my whole spiel here. Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. We are continuing west towards the Farlands. Like I said, 786. This episode coming out on Sunday, June 7th, 2020, being recorded Saturday, June 6th, 2020, right here on Twitch for those tuning in. And we're raising money for PAWS, the Progressive Animal Welfare Society, over at farlandsorbust.com. Up to $2,283. Thank you, everybody who continues to donate. I do appreciate it. And when you do donate, you can ask a question. And only then. No, you can ask a question, and I will add it to the list to be answered or discussed or whatever in the next episode. Of course, we have been doing some between episode streaming of Farlands or Bust as well. Those are going up on YouTube as well. So if you're confused as to why we've started here as opposed to what you remember at the end of episode 785, that's why. It's because there's an episode 785.5 that splits between that. Also, speaking of episode 785, a Brazilian Minecraft YouTuber known as iMine? EI. What noise in Portuguese does EI make? I thought it was L, like the mine, but no, it's EI. Plug that into the old Google box, and it tells me that translates loosely to English as hey. Hey mine. EI. Hey. Hey, mine. So, hey, mine did a video about the Farlands, and I think mentioned Farlands or Bust. I don't know. It's not a language that I can parse. I don't know that the video was completely all about Farlands or Bust, or simply the Farlands, and then mentioned Farlands or Bust, but got quite a significant number of viewers from Hey Mine to that episode 785. Is it pronounced hey? Or is it A? A! Mine! A! EI. If any of you are still around for this episode, welcome and thank you for sticking around. And I appreciate the shout out from A. Mine. A. A. Yeah, A. That's what I said. A? A. Mine. A. Thanks. Well, that happened. Quite a significant surge of views on that video as well. Much appreciated, and of course the comments were very much inundated with Portuguese-speaking viewers. Indeed. Well, we're going west here, but this past weekend I went east in real life. It was a nice weekend. So drove out east past the mountains, where, lo and behold, the state of Washington isn't all evergreen trees and snow-capped mountains. It's the high desert. Went out to the high desert with Juno and the girlfriend and did a hike. Pretty cool hike. It reminded me a lot of Arizona, honestly. Dusty, dry, sunny. Really no trees, just like just without any cacti, but scrubby, you know, little lowland shrubberies. So that was a cool hike. That was nice to get out and hike. Not much elevation change in the hike, but it was warm enough that it was too warm for Juno. We're all out of shape, Juno included, but she got tired pretty quick and hot pretty quick because she has a black coat. Thinking I need to buy one of those cooling shirts that they make for dogs, or make my own out of just like a white t-shirt, just to help with the sunshine on Juno's black coat. But she did alright. She did, near the end, she got tired enough where she was just slowing down. So the girlfriend picked her up and like carried her the final like 100 meters or so to the parking lot. I think she was just faking it, because she had the biggest smile on her face while she was being carried. She's like, haha, suckers. I did it. She's fine. She's fine. Also, out in the high desert of Washington, rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes. Didn't see a single rattlesnake while I was living in Arizona for 2 years. Saw two rattlesnakes. One, we were just hiking along the trail, noticed all the rocks and stuff were all volcanic. I saw some ancient magma outcroppings I was pointing out, and then the bush in front of us started to rattle, to which the girlfriend saw a rattlesnake and, whoa, run away! Well, that was fun. And then we got back to the car, and relaxing under the shade of our car was another rattlesnake, a bigger rattlesnake. So we had to try to coax it away from being under the car. When that didn't work, we just moved the car, hop into the car as quick as possible, and then drive backwards, trying not to squish it. It didn't get squished. Just to get some space. Give me some space, rattlesnakes. Give me some space. Yeah, abandon the car. Just, well, ran when parked. Ran when rattlesnaked. That was different. Amusing. Wildlife. So yeah, I never seen a single rattlesnake. Never even saw a wild tarantula or scorpion when I lived in Arizona. But check that off the list. So yeah, that was a good time to get away. Some picturesque stuff. Some scenery. Long drive too. I mean, it was a 3-hour drive out and then back. But they haven't done any of those really since getting. Well, I guess it was a long drive to see the solar eclipse, and I did go down to Oregon once, so I guess there were some. I've done some drives, but yeah, that was pretty good. Indeed. Speaking of wildlife, I don't know how many of the people watching Farlands or Bust know, but certainly Twitch chat knows about Keepers and Niblet, the cats that I moved in with. Those cool cats. It was the morning, but I was just on the computer, and I heard a ruckus, a commotion, which is nothing new. They fight and chase each other, whatever. And I heard hissing, which isn't new. That's not normal. Careful, Wolfie. Go out there to the kitchen to see that Peepers caught a mouse. Peepers caught a mouse. Never seen mice in the house. Don't know where it came from. It didn't leave any evidence of its presence. But Peepers caught a mouse. Dang it! I'm all trapped in this gully. So I was like, ha! I had to like, first I had to chase him into the bathroom because he was hissing and growling, you know, because he wanted to protect his catch, his find. Didn't want to give it up. I had to like coax him into the bathroom, and then I kind of cornered him in the bathroom. I got a garbage bag and a towel and was able to wrestle the mouse, still alive, from his mouth and put it in the bag. I unfortunately didn't get any pictures of it. The girlfriend was upset that she wasn't here for it. He's never caught a mouse before, and these small, fancy, exotic, flat-faced cats, they tend to get a lot of guff for not being real cats. They can't catch no vermin with those flat faces. Oh, they do. Oh, they do. And they did. So yeah, we released the mouse. Probably not going to make it, though. It did get bit. It did get bit by a cat. And Peepers is now an official mouse catcher. Let's go to sleep. And awakeness. And awakeness. Yeah. Not much of a experience, or any experience, with owning cats. So these are all new experiences for me. Mouse catching. I mean, the mouse catching was new even for the girlfriend. Finding hairballs. These are all new experiences. New and exciting experiences for us all to enjoy. Although I wonder if the mouse had gone into the basement where Juno is instead, we probably never would have known it existed. Juno would have just eaten it. Probably. I'm assuming. And who knows? Maybe there have been other mouses that we just never got to meet because Juno has eaten them. No, I don't. She hasn't gotten hasn't had any weird yard leavings that would indicate such things as these. But yeah, that was interesting. It was also exactly the same time I checked Twitter, and Doc, I guess, has a new cat or something that is like an outside cat and killed and brought in a mouse. It was very strange timing that happened at about the same time. I mean, I'm sure at any given moment of any day that a cat is catching a mouse everywhere, but yeah, I just noted that was strange. Indeed. Also today, I've been fiddling with my bits. The 1977 Corolla bits. I've been rejetting the carb to make it more Richard. Which I think has been working, although this latest I went even further, basically to the highest amount of fuel jetting, I suppose, that my kit came with. And oops, I just picked up those sticks right away. I think I'm going to go back down a notch. But I also I bought and then installed the grill from a 79 Corolla, just because it's got some interesting chrome trim and it looks a little bit more aggressive on my 77 than the standard kind of pig nose, I guess it's kind of known as grill. Let's go this way, Wolfie. Yes, let's go this way. We don't need another Farlands or Bus flashback in our future. So I ended up painting now the old grill because it was all faded and worn. It was kind of an off gray because it had just been sun bleached and stuff like that. So I painted it black again, which turned out much better, for a driveway rattle can paint job. I didn't have anything to cover it up with. I expected a whole bunch of bugs and random stuff in the paint, but it turned out pretty good. So I put that back on. I think I like it. I've been seeing pictures of the default, the stock grills, and I'm like, on second thought, that thing I bought off eBay, maybe let's swap it back out. So yeah, I've been happy with that. And then I went for a drive today because I've also been... The gas gauge isn't entirely accurate, so I think I've been filling it up and I only like fill it up like 4 gallons at a time before it's full. So I looked up, and I know that it has a 13 and a 10th gallon gas tank, and I've gotten like 28 miles per gallon or 22, so I'm like, let's guess 25 miles per gallon, so I should be able to go like 325 miles on a tank of gas. So I've been keeping track of the miles instead of trusting the fuel gauge. So it was about 250 miles, and I'm like, might as well get gas. So I went and got gas, ethanol-free gas. Went out today. It was supposed to be cloudy with some random thunderstorms and things like that. I saw a window in the radar, so I went out, got gas, and then went to the grocery store, and of course, it starts raining. It starts raining while I'm in the grocery store, so I had to drive the Corolla home in the rain. I tend not to like to drive it in the rain, what with the rust situation, but also the windshield wipers suck, and the windows and doors don't necessarily keep all the water out, which I discover when I wash it. So that's interesting. Like, that was just like, nuts. I also had the scare of a lifetime. I got back into the car at the grocery store, took my keys out of my pocket, and I normally keep my keys in one pocket, and my wallet in the other, and my phone in the other. I took out the keys and noticed that it was only my car keys and not my house keys. And I checked every pocket, and I checked all around the ground, thinking if I had gotten out and took out my face mask and dropped it, or before I went into the grocery store, I'm like, oh, did I drop it at the gas station? I don't have a spare set of keys, a way to get in. I'd have to put my lockpicking skills to the test, but my lockpick kit is inside the house. Spooky noises. So I was kind of freaking out. But I'm like, well, there's literally nothing I can do. I have these groceries that need to get in the refrigerator or freezer. It's raining. I don't want to drive in the rain, so I gotta get out of this. In the Corolla, so I will make my way home. Turns out, thank goodness, my keys, my house keys, were in the Subaru Crosstrek, which I had to move out of the way to get the Corolla out of the garage. Which was good and bad. I must have got in the Crosstrek, put my keys down, parked it, and then forgotten to pick up my keys again. Good and bad, because that means anybody could have just busted a window on my Crosstrek and then had access to the house with those keys. But good, because I'd found my keys again, and I didn't have to myself break into my own house. So that was exciting. I've never locked myself out of a house. I've locked myself out of a car back when I was learning how to drive. I don't know, I was 16, 17 or something like that. I had to use a payphone. Remember payphones? I had to use a payphone to call home and have somebody bring me the spare key. I'm old. So yeah, a fun day of many things happening on this here fun day. So yeah, I kind of wiped off the prominently problem areas on the Corolla to make sure the water didn't sit or anything like that. Not that it's gonna like rust after one rainstorm, but it is kind of unfortunate because I did just wash it the other day, the last week or something like that. Beans. But that's fine. So just fiddling and foodling, noodling, canoodling. Whoa, zombies. Wolfie, there. Whoa, Wolfie, what the heck happened to your tail, you dingus? Don't break. Alright, you know what? I gotta ditch half of those sticks. Hey, Wolfie. Wolfie. Hey. Hey. Ah. Alright. Pork chops. Hey. 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 There it is. Woof. Much better. So I did get a question. Only one question. From a donor for a charity. Andreas asked, Kurt, did you ever watch Mythbusters? If yes, do you remember any particular myths you found interesting? I did watch Mythbusters back at home when we had cable. I'll have to think about this. It's been a very long time. And I have been on and off tuning into Adam Savage's YouTube channel, tested.com or whatever. Does a lot of stuff in the shop. And does the Untitled podcast. Yeah, let me think about Mythbusters. Myths? Is that what they're called? But first I'm gonna go to sleep. And a Mythbustness. Buster and Busto are only somewhat related, but both completely individual and fully formed separate intellectual identities. Well, obviously the cement truck one. Everybody remembers that one. I don't remember what myth that was attached to. I just remember them annihilating a cement truck full of explosives, like to a fine powder. I think I remember the one where it was like a gas. They were doing like gas house explosions. And it was kind of surprising how much of a like perfect concentration of gas to air you needed to fill a room to have it like actually explode. Like that's always, I don't know, it's one of those like constant childhood fears I suppose my parents instilled into us so that we don't use the oven or the stove wrong or something like that. But I remember it was like tricky for them to actually get it to go. Not that that was like, well, I don't have to worry about gas anymore, I guess. Like I just got this gas grill, and I'm all like, did I hook up the propane tank right? Am I doing this right? Is that too much? Too little? You know. So, I guess there's been no dissuasions of those fears thanks to Mythbusters. Oh, there's the one. They did it multiple times where they tried to flatten a car between two semi-trucks. That one just seemed technical. Dang it, Wolfie. Technically difficult they kept having with that. Like, I could tell it was possible. It's just they needed to get it dead on. Have, like, a car disappear with two head-on semi-truck collisions. There was the air conditioning versus windows open myth. I think that was along with the drafting a truck trailer to get better miles per gallon. That was interesting because it did work, but it's like, this is kind of illegal and dangerous to be driving this close to a truck. But also they did the air conditioning one. And I think they did it wrong. I mean, they did it unnecessarily. They were driving around a track with like a certain amount of fuel, and then when the fuel ran out, they'd see how many laps you could last with the windows open at a certain speed or with the air conditioner on at a certain speed. They put the air conditioner on max, and I don't know if it mattered on this particular car or not, but generally speaking, when you have the AC on, regardless of the fan speed, you're using the AC compressor. So you're using the same amount of energy to run the AC compressor, whether or not the fans are high or low or whatever. So they were all like in there freezing in their like coats and stuff with the AC on max for like an hour or whatever, and it's like you didn't need to do that. Well, that was just kind of like a, huh. Maybe they did that for comedic effect or dramatic television, but yeah, that was a different one, which I didn't know that. I mean, I always had small cars with little puny 4-cylinder engines. So turning on the air conditioner, like, to me was like losing 30 horsepower. So I'm like, I don't use the air conditioner because it slows me down. It makes my car feel sad. It makes my old 92 Cavalier run on 2 of its 4 cylinders practically. I guess the same thing went with the plane. They pressurized the plane cabin and then shot a hole in the window, and it like didn't explode like it does in all the movies. I think those are some of my favorite, like the movie myths, or like shooting a gas tank on a car. Those were kind of, I think, some of my favorite ones. You know, shooting a gas tank on a car doesn't make it explode, it just puts a hole in the gas tank. Oh yeah, I did watch Mythbusters. I wish it was something that was like around when I was going through school and like having to come up with science projects. I bet you ever since then, like science projects in like middle school and grade school have like completely changed. I remember I did a science experiment about like which laundry detergent works best. It's like, that's not a science experiment. What are you, Consumer Reports? Now kids are out here myth busting. Probably. I don't know. I don't keep up with the children's. I don't keep up with the children's. Oh, we have been watching the original Star Trek. We finished The Next Generation. So we've been going through the original Star Trek series and just watched the one. I guess I didn't. There's the episode where they found an exact duplicate of Earth, and it was a world that was like dead. They never explained or came to rationalize why it was a perfect duplication of Earth, other than maybe they had the availability to use a 1920s Earth-looking movie set, and just to keep costs down, they're like, yeah, it's a mirror Earth. But it was where like all the parents were dead, but there were only children left because there was some disease that had killed them once they hit puberty. But the disease also made them live like 300 years. So just mentioning kids made me think about that. Those are some creepy kids. Creepy kids. Also, Kirk was himself quite creepy to the one kid, Miri. Yes. That was a pretty creepy interaction. I mean, it's Kirk. Of course, everything is about him. Pretty creepy, dude. Pretty creepy, dude. Calm down. Calm down. So those have been different, let me say. Those have been quite different indeed. Oh, and then we did watch the movie Star Trek Generations. I didn't like that one so much. Even though I presume it was Kirk's last Star Trek. I feel like for a next generation movie, there wasn't a lot of the next generation cast. You didn't see much from the main players of, you know, it was mostly Picard with the kind of weird Data has emotions side story that really served no purpose. But yeah, that was kind of average. We did like, what was the one we watched? We're finding these on different sites, because you can't find any of the Next Generation movies on, like, Amazon or Netflix. The only thing that there was Nemesis. No, not Nemesis. The one with the face people. You know, the people with the faces. Not Nemesis. Insurrection. Yeah, that one. That one was actually, like, good. It was like a classic Star Trek episode story. Maybe didn't need to made a movie. I feel like I didn't like the new Enterprise they had, but I'm guessing that's because in Generations the old Enterprise got destroyed, so they had to come up with a new one. I guess didn't like the design. It was completely forgettable. But yeah, no, we're just bouncing all around, watching different things. But we did find them on. It was on. We did find. I found some of them on Crackle. But the Xbox doesn't have Crackle, but it has Tubi, Tubi, which I believe seems to be a mirror image of Crackle. And they had Generations, and they also have Nemesis, which I heard Nemesis is pretty bad, but it's got Tom Hardy. Blah. So yeah, that's that. That's that, my friends. Can you believe it? I was able to come up with things to talk about with only one question from a donor. We filled out an entire episode as if I've been doing this for 9.5 years. Let's make this end of the episode hidey hole. Let's secure the doorway. Whoops, that's not how you do it. That's how we do it. Fill it out. Yeah, what we can't find, the only one we can't find is the good one. Star Trek The Voyage Home. We can't find that one anywhere, and that's a shame. Because it's the good one. And I know I've seen that one before. But I would like to see it with the context of having actually watched a Star Trek. I mean, for free. Like, that one you can rent on Amazon or whatever, but who does that? Boink. Indeed. How about that for episode 786, Farlands or Bust? farlandsorbust.com to learn more about the series. Check out the charity and other such things as these. I do appreciate you watching. Hope you're doing well. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. Oh, ho, run away!